So, many people don't know exactly how Donald Trump met Melania. And, well, first of all, she wasn't a mail order bride, that's for sure. And they can say anything they want and they can Photoshop or create any story they want to these days. But the truth is that Donald Trump met Melania at a Jeff Epstein sex party. And it was from there that Donald Trump established a relationship with Melania. And it's not known for sure whether the Clintons were there too or not. But suffice it to say, like I said, Donald Trump didn't meet Melania on the golf course or at a cotillion ball. And he didn't meet her anywhere through some mail-order bride stuff. And it is known that he was at a lot of Jeff Epstein parties and that Melania was associated with Jeff Epstein. So you start to ask yourself, during the campaign, they tried to make sure that this information about Jeff Epstein was kept on the down low. And it was a desperate attempt on the part of the Trump campaign to keep the Jeff Epstein case under wraps and to disassociate Donald Trump as much as possible from Jeff Epstein and Jeff Epstein's little black book. That is why Donald Trump was desperate to talk about fake news. They started the QAnon movement specifically to be a rebuttal to Jeff Epstein, to draw attention away from the truth about the Jeff Epstein case and the 1,000 names of pedophiles, which are yet to be revealed. But the government told us 2 years ago that it promised us to reveal those names, and it still hasn't. And bet your bottoms to bootstraps, Donald Trump is on there, and the Clintons and other people who are high up in our society. And we'll get to each one of them. So then Donald Trump decided that it was okay to try and do something even more nefarious. Because, see, what happened to the Jeff Epstein information was Julian Assange hacked it. And when Julian Assange hacked the Jeff Epstein database, Jeff Epstein was great at extortion and setting up people for pedophilia, but Jeff Epstein was not good at internet security. And so when Julian Assange hacked him, he got everything. And he sold that information to Vladimir Putin. And this is why Donald Trump was so desperate to get Julian Assange during his presidency and extradite him from London. And this is why they tried to accuse Julian Assange of rape and besmirch his name, because they themselves are on a list of pedophilia, of 1,000 names of pedophilia, pedophiles, And so now we have the situation where the Trump people were desperate to get Julian Assange back to the States. They were desperate to keep the Jeff Epstein case under wraps. And when they realized that this thing was really blowing up wider than they wanted it to, with Prince Andrew on the list and Prince Mohammed bin Salman on the list, they said, why don't we start coronavirus? And we'll create a pandemic and everybody will go into lockdown mode and everybody will go into panic mode and we'll draw the public's attention away from this disgusting case that involves Donald Trump. And then when that wasn't enough, because Donald Trump was expecting to win a second term and he didn't, he was going to help Vladimir Putin with the war in Ukraine. And he couldn't because he didn't win. And that's why he got so angry and had his little hissy fit on January 6th. And it's because of all those things that the world is the way it is today, because they're desperately trying to cover up this list of 1,000 names. The Jeff Epstein pedophiles. The 1,000 most wealthy, most powerful people in the world who were caught with little girls and boys. And they don't want their names revealed. But if you or I were to do it, and you're certain, you can be certain that we would go to jail. So we're waiting for Donald Trump to be put in jail. And we're waiting for him to be taken actually in handcuffs and processed like anybody else. And until then, there is no rule of law in the United States until that day comes. It's Leopold Richard Bamberger Alavizos. Tune in next week for another episode of punking the rich.